did you know that there is a video out there that can literally change the way you think about video games? And I'm not just talking about the regular Dilla stuff. I'm talking about the way your frontal lobe of your brain thinks about each game that you're playing. It's so inspiring to think about that once I watched this said video, I was completely mind blown and changed by the way I go about my daily life when I'm playing Overwatch. And now I'm here today with the person that made the said video, top right. Y'all need to go check this guy out. And I came to him for more information and to kind of dissect the video that he was talking about in his previous video. So I hope y'all like the video. I really hope y'all like the video. Give it a like. Give it a like because this is really inspirational and some good information that I think anybody across different titles can tap into. So, all right, we're good. Go ahead.
So I was trying to see because you said there's the main support and then there's the flex support.
Mm-hmm.
So my mind goes to thinking about did you see in the video there was like a three graphs of micro, meso, and macro?
Yeah, yeah, I
Like
saw
some
that.
games had higher micro, some games had higher macro and stuff.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that the way you define um, main support is probably high in the macro
Hmm.
and less in the micro and maybe second highest meso. Do you think that's accurate?
Second highest meso. Yeah, I think I would need to see like a graph.
Micro. Uh, Actually, I want to make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. This one is. How do I edit this? Macro. Okay. And I'll just draw like a very simple like bar for each, right? So
Yeah.
whatever. Um, I'm assuming that since support is macro heavy, or like overall in general, even if they're either main support or flex support, so this is going to be the highest, right, for support.
Yeah, most definitely.
My guess is that, let's say, hold on, give me a sec. Let's say the blue is the main support, and let's say yellow is the flex support. I think the only difference for Meso is that micro's higher, Meso's lower. But for main, Meso's higher, micro's lower. Does that make sense?
Kinda. How would meso be higher? I forgot the explanation for meso.
It's reading the opponents.
Oh yeah, reading the
So
opponent. Yeah.
knowing like where they are or like tracking their cooldowns.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, like old tracking cooldowns, and then figuring out how to respond. Yeah.
The other one you could think about Meso is like wall hacks. So like being able to like tell where the enemies are gonna be.
Oh yeah. So basically, if I wanted to cheat for the game, I would want wall hacks. Let's see.
For Meso, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think that makes sense. And then macro higher.
Micro is just pure like aim.
It's pure aim. Yeah, because I don't find myself doing a lot of aim trainers
Hmm.
because it's like the characters that I play is mostly for like you can put basically the recent characters I've been playing is obviously like Lucio, Brigitte, and this new character that released, Mizuki.
Hmm.
Lucio has a speed, or like an amp speed. So
Yep.
my most of my job is basically either amping my team in or just helping with like prevent like side angles from getting on my back line. And then Brigitte is basically like a midi tank. It's basically to
Yep.
like help with like stable and stuff like that. And then the new character Mizuki, um one of the biggest things about his kit is like he has this little like chain ability. So like let's say a character tries to dive you, you can easily like chain them, and yeah,
Oh.
you can like chain them and then per prevent them from using their CDs, and then call your team to all jump him, and then he dies. So
Ah, okay.
I think you could say, let me see.
I feel like CC of any kind kind of feels like Mezzo, no?
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think I think definitely for Mizuki, the new character, like
Hmm.
if you can hit the chain, like that's like almost a free fight win. Like
Hmm.
almost a free, depending on you hit it on. So it definitely, I think definitely falls under a lot of mesos, because you gotta see like when like the enemy uses their abilities and stuff like that. Like trace you, for example, Tracer. I actually actually, let me see. Let me show you something.
Okay.
Okay. So this was from my, where's my downloads? That's fine. I can just up in here. Okay. So this was during my my scrim last night. I don't know
Okay.
if this is a good example, but this is kind of like what Mizuki can do.
Oh, that was a nice chain.
So it's
There,
like, so like to break it down, like obviously the tracer, like I faced a lot of tracers in my
Hmm.
time, and the first few seconds, I know that the tracer, she got stunned by Cassidy's anti nade, and
Hmm.
I predicted she was gonna try to either hit a pulse bomb on me and try to like dash forward and then like flick around. So then I kind of like predicted the flick, and then she recalled, and then whenever this is gonna sound so complicated, but whenever Tracer uses her first blink, like her first blink out of the, wait, hold on one second. Thing about Overwatch with Tracer is whenever she has three blinks, right? You can like blink around the
Yep.
map. Her first blink, right? Whenever she uses her first blink, whenever she recalls to the spot where she first blinked. So when you're facing
Hmm.
her, you have to mentally note where she like,
Oh, okay.
you have to mentally remember. Mind you, there's different things coming across your screen. There's different bullets coming across. There's a lot of other things that will distract you. But if you
Yeah.
can also remember, oh, Tracer blinked from this specific location, she's going, whenever she recalls and blinks, she's gonna go back to that same spot. So if you look in the clip, she used her first blink, and then whenever she recalled, I swinged around and chained from the exact spot she wanted to recall back to. So
Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
you feel me? So that's elite. That's elite mesos. I don't know. that's
Yeah, that
that's
is.
elite mesos, honestly. And I
You
mean,
just read his mind.
basically, so it's kind of like, so it's definitely, honestly, with that being said, I would raise the bar of mesos for main support, because I think you gotta have, like, for one, main support, you need, what my coach has been telling me I need to be doing, because I never played Overwatch 1. There's a lot
Hmm.
of untapped history with Overwatch. There's like hundreds of odds with different strategies and different compositions to play. And essentially, my practice is reading a book.
Hmm.
reading up on the history of Overwatch and learning how the game was played from the old days and then translating it to the new days. So
Right.
so you could say 80% of my practice is not even in ranked because then there's come it comes to the point where um like how long you're playing the game, like how long you're how many hours you're putting into the game, and if all those hours even mean a damn. Because
Mm.
I've definitely fallen to this trap, and I think this can be said for all across different esports titles, from the niche ones to all the micro mesos and macro combined. I think
Yep.
the way you practice, and I think the early you figure out what the game you're playing is made of, I think the easier it can be. And once you figure out how the game is made and theoretically supposed to be played, then you can take your video into a consideration. Oh, if I wanted to cheat in this game, how can I do it for my specific playstyle or role? And then you
Yep.
dive deeper into that, and then you can figure out how you want to optimize your practice. And
Yeah.
then at that point, it's just up from there. So because I've tried um, I have about I have about I have about I think 2,000 hours in ranked and 500 hours in scrims plus official matches, and I play about 400 games. See, I say that, but then I play 400 games of ranked a season and then only win like 100 or 200 of them. So even now I'm like struggling with like realizing that I don't need to actually play the game slash ranked as much. All I need to do is just like really just figure out how I want to move around the map. And then once you,
Hmm.
I think once you figure that stuff out, and I'm specifically talking about main support, I think that you can put in consideration of, have you ever heard of walkthroughs?
Uh, like, what do you mean? In
Like walk through for a play, like you're about to get ready to perform and you do like a pre-sequel, or like you do just a little walkthrough, like, hey, these are the songs we're gonna play, make sure y'all know this
oh, for
when
like preparing for a match?
preparing for a match. And I think this is very underrated. I think it's very
Hmm.
underrated. This something I started doing, and I think all roles can do this. And I guess I don't know with other titles, but I do this specifically. What I do is, um, so I compete in this league called Face It League, Face It Overwatch League,
Yep.
and Face has been around with um oh, I forgot, why did I forget the name, with CS for like a while. So
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
recently partnered with Overwatch a couple years back in 2024, and each season is about 3 months, and
Okay.
they give out these specific maps that you are going to play every Mondays and Wednesdays, because that's when the matches are happening. So whenever that goes on, um, before a match, what I like to do is I think 2 hours before a match or scrim, I would just go in the map by myself, and I would like theory craft. Like
Oh,
I would
okay.
I would theory craft on where I want to position on the map, and like kind of give myself like a random scenario on what happens. Like, oh, this person used this cooldown, or this person is rotating this side. Where do I need to be going? Like, where does my setup needs to be? Where do I want to be when a fight starts? And then where do I want to be when a fight ends? And then if I die and trying to come back from spawn, where do I need to be? And I'll do that for every single map. And literally just doing that consistently makes you 10 times better, like makes you 10 times better at the game than spamming ranked all day.
Because you're training your specific like weaknesses, right?
Exactly. So it's it's actually pretty insane. So yeah, when it comes to like the support role in general and just main support, it's so many nuances and concepts and stuff like that. And like I stream mostly every day. I also stream my scrimmages. I have matches on Mondays and Wednesdays. So like if you wanted to like use me as an example for any of your future videos or like learn more, then you're always free to pop in. Or I can give you a VOD and stuff like that. But yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
So I have a couple of things that I do want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really like the what you mentioned about how you're basically training your weaknesses to prepare for a match, right?
Yeah.
So you could in this graph, you could think about it like think about it with this red line like this. Let's say this is like your current level of macro.
Yeah.
And let's say this is your current level of meso and current level of micro. In this scenario, your macro is the only thing that's like missing or holding you back, right?
Yeah.
If it's the opposite and this is all filled up, this isn't, but this is, that means your meso is like kind of lacking.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about like when you lose a match, and this is kind of something that I'm looking to apply into like Apex, where if you keep noticing that you're just getting out aimed, that implies that your micro is weak.
Mm-hmm.
If you are getting outplayed and you're like, I'm just constantly just getting like outplayed or like, yeah, basically like a tracer outplaying you by movement or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, that implies meso is your problem. But if you're just constantly in a bad position, that implies a macro issue. And I think having these like ways to diagnose which issue you are like most dealing with in a scrim or like in a match is like super helpful.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I think when it comes to individual improvement, because I was thinking it's like a domino effect, right? Let's just say you because
Mhm.
like let's just say you start with so like think about it like this, right? Starting up in a map, we're walking to the point, right? If your
Yep.
position is already good, then it enables your mesos to be somewhat decentable, and then your macro to compensate
Oh, true.
because it's a domino effect. Because you think about it like this, like all three of them actually enables each other. It's like a chain effect, right? If you do one,
Yeah,
if you do one really well, it snowballs into the other. Even if your mesos and macro is a little bit ass, it can still compensate because you did one thing right.
that's a good point.
But the higher you go, the less of those chances you get. So that's when you said you have to get those up. But
Yeah.
the hardest thing is that the hardest thing is actually identifying what is actually the issue. Like
Yeah.
how do we even like when you look at a bot, how do you even look if which is the issue? You feel me?
That's a very hard question to answer. I think it's very hard, especially in Overwatch, because it's you're trying to like look at 10 players on the entire map, right? And trying to like calculate what's the best position out of them all.
Mm-hmm.
But um like I said, the I think if you were to track your last cause of death in a match, and if it was just purely you just got completely out aimed, that's just basically micro.
Basic micro.
If you just completely were caught off guard with something that felt like you just got outplayed, that's just meso. And if it's like, I think this also makes sense in Overwatch. Have you ever felt like you were in a position where you just knew you were gonna die?
Bro, all the time. I'm not gonna lie, all the time. Like I think I remember like it's like a feeling you get as soon as the fight
Yeah.
starts. I'm gonna. I'm like I'm it's GG's. I'm out. Like for
If
some reason, yeah.
if position is the cause of death, I think that implies macro,
Okay.
like that as the issue. Does that kind of make sense? Like if you were to think about what caused your death.
Mm-hmm. Cause I think yeah, cause I think the baseline I'm trying to think of a baseline. Like I think the baseline starts from macro for sure,
Hmm.
because then it gives more incentive to figure out where like the mesos and macro comes into as well, because 99% of the time I'm not dueling a tracer on myself by myself. I'm
Hmm.
either I'm either or like I'm not dueling a flanker by myself. I'm usually, because if I do, I will die. I'll
Hmm.
probably will die. I'm not the top yet, but I'm usually kind of like keeping them off into the side. And I think when it comes to, I'm trying to think. Yeah, start of the fight. Yeah, start of the fight. Your macro can be is mostly tested because of where you're positioning and also where you position to help your teammates, right? So if you're doing that good, then it will be easier for you to read the opponent mesos. It will be easier for you to read the opponent to see what they're trying to do and what their plan is. And then when the fight starts, at that point it's just can you hit your shots?
Yeah.
So and even with the last part, like you, with micro, it's it's not really big heavy aim game, so you can get away with a lot of different. You can get away with a lot of BS.
Uh,
Not gonna lie. So
okay.
so yeah. So I think for main support, at least for me specifically, if the macro is good, the meso's good. Yeah, if the macro's good, then the meso's good, and then wait, did I say that right? Macro,
Yeah, yeah.
mesos, yeah. And if all that, yeah, if it's basically domino faith, if the macro's good, then the rest of the baseline will be good. But yeah, it's like a mental game. It's honestly, I started comparing Overwatch to chess a little bit.
Oh,
I
I
started
like that.
I started comparing it to chess because I started playing chess. Actually, I'll take it further. Smite. Smite. I recently started to play Smite because Smite 2 came out recently.
Hmm.
And there's this character, Ares. He has the same ability. He's a support. He has the same ability as Mizuki. He has
Hmm.
he has a chain. His first ability is a chain, and one is like a protect enemy, or like protect yourself. Like it buffs your, I think I might be wrong, but it buffs your teammates and yourself. And then the third one is like he holds out his shield, and like fire comes out. And his
Uh,
ultimate is you get in range of the enemy and you like shoot into the sky, and you these like chains come out of your body, and you like you grab like the enemies and you pull them back towards your team to get a kill.
oh,
And
okay.
and I found that playing Ares is the same way you supposed to play main support. And I applied some of those concepts I learned from Overwatch to Smite, and I was pretty successful. So, and then I did the same thing with chess, and I'm like, okay, like it, it's like I'm figuring like it's all connected, and I think the less I worry about trying to get a kill, and the more I worry about where I'm positioning on the map, I think the game itself will become 10 times easier. And if you
Yeah.
if you ignore if you are playing rank, there's a lot of factors that you have no control over. So if you just minimize all of that and just focus on where you're positioning on a map, you would have like, and just honestly just watch your teammates, you would realize how dumb they are. And second, how your micro is arguably the best line. I say arguably the baseline for
Yeah.
for main support, honestly. So yeah,
The
it's
thing I really like about what you said about like the whole like domino effect about
mm,
everything, I think um oh shoot, I lost my thought. No.
no, you're good.
Um
Mm.
Oh, I got it. Um, do you know anything about League of Legends?
Ooh, that game, man. Now that game is, yeah. I know a bit.
Okay,
I know like right here,
any
basically
bit. Okay.
a little bit.
Would it make sense? I think it would make sense in Smite as well. Would it make sense to say there is a early game, mid game, and a late game?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
So the way you play early game is completely different from the way you play mid game
Mid
and
game,
late game.
late game, yeah.
So the macro, the way I look at like macro is um this is kind of like a work in development, so I'm not really like too sure if this is like finalized yet, but the way I think about macro is what is the advantage or the disadvantage based off of what phase you are in. So there's three phases: early game, mid game, late game. What's the advantage and the disadvantage position in early game and in mid game and in late game? And I know that sounds kind of confusing when you look at try to like put that into Overwatch,
Nah, I
but
get it. Nah, I got it. I think boom
I
for yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I kind of want to draw it out in a
Yeah, go ahead.
simplified way, if it makes sense. So
Yeah, go
let's
ahead.
say these are your, I'm just going to use three, right?
Yeah.
So these are your three players on your team. And let's say these are, I'll use a different color, three enemies,
Yeah.
right? Let's say this is a tracer and you are here as the main support. And you obviously don't want to be here and fight him, right?
Oh wait, I can't wait. Am I able to move? Oh, yeah, I can. I didn't see the board. Oh, I can zoom out. Okay, I just realized I can zoom out. Okay. Got it.
So, as I said, if this was you, main
Yeah.
support, you wouldn't want to be here where the enemy tracer is right here, right? You would never want to 1v1 close range
Yeah.
against a tracer
Not yeah, not
while
really.
you're like while you're far away from your team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means if you are, let's say you are here, the first thing you want to do is come back. And what the tracer is probably going to do is push forward and kind of like trap your whole team. Let me see if I could do it. And slowly like trap your whole team into a tighter and tighter circle. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Because you never want you keep avoiding the tracer, you keep avoiding,
Yeah.
and now you're like kind of like pushed into a tight corner. And I'm guessing when this happens, let's say the enemy tank is, I don't know, like Zarya or something, and she's able to use her ult. Now her ult does everything to everyone that's stacked on top, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking at that like macro with how like this, if we go back to like the very first, you can look at this as like early game where everybody's like kind of in a neutral position.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the tracer starts moving up, then it's like it slowly moves into, I guess,
That
I
mid
don't like to
game.
call it mid game, but
Or kind of
yeah,
like
but
or you could say early stages of the mid game, early stages of the fight, or something like that. Cause like uh, the neutral is just like feeling each other out. Like you feel me? Like
yeah,
you could
yeah.
see where like kind of like a little jab, or you could say because I definitely I see a lot of tracers and flankers kind of do jabs and like
Hmm.
not really full commit. They kind of like bait. They
Yeah.
kind of just bait basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So like so I guess what I'm trying to say is like the way the characters like change positions can be seen as the whole micro or macro, I meant
Yeah.
the macro, right?
Yeah.
And the meso is like when we go back to you being here and then the tracer being there, you know that the tracer wants to play aggressive 100% when you're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means you have to play defense. And as a result of you playing defense, the tracer actually is now playing a different role, which is called control. And and I'll kind of write it down here because I think I was talking to someone and they said it. So offense, defense, control. And this is how I would probably break down the meso, as in when you think about rock, paper, scissors,
Mm-hmm.
your opponent only can play rock, paper, or scissors. And you kind of have to guess if they're going to play rock, I have to play paper, right?
Yeah.
And if they play whatever, right? So if someone is playing offense, if they're playing aggressive, you want to play defensive, correct?
Yeah.
But if you're playing defensive, or yeah, if you're playing defensive, the enemy is going to play control.
Control. Yeah.
And you can see it exactly in this scenario with the whole Tracer thing. Tracer was first playing offense, you played defense, and now Tracer switched to control. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I
I,
see it.
I hope this isn't like too like confusing or
No,
like
no,
complex.
no. You good. I'm playing it in my mind, and it makes sense.
So the first interaction is offense. So you could think of it like Tracer played rock. And because Tracer played rock, you played paper.
Paper,
And because you played paper, Tracer played scissors.
scissors. Yeah, and then it repeats. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then when you think about it like that, if the Tracer is starting to play scissors, then you actually want to play rock.
Rock. Yeah.
And my guess is ideally if your team has like good communication, like two people could like instantly play aggressive against the Tracer to like shut her down and like get her out of there.
Hmm. I think the best indicator when like a tracer tries to get a jab or it's doing like best. Let me repeat. The best indicator to know when I actually did my job is as soon as they use recall,
Mhm.
the fights basically won. So
Oh, okay.
the fights, yeah. So if so think about it like this, right? Like the example is good, but as soon because you can also kind of bet on yourself, you feel me? So
Yeah.
if you want to go all the way back to the point where me and the tracer meets at that little point,
Yep.
if I for some odd reason have really good um um uh micro, what was it, micro, the last one, the left one,
Micro.
if I have really
Yeah.
good micro and I hit three bullets, three, I forgot Tracer's health, but like if I hit three critical bullets on Tracer and she uses her recall, I basically won that lane and won that side
Mhm.
fight.
Mm,
So that's where it becomes, because it's like, yeah, the Tracer could, try to blink in and you're playing defensive, but as you're doing all that, if you're hitting your shots ever so slightly, it can be one or two bullets and forces a recall, then basically won that lane. And then that gives your team to be able to walk in, walk up and stuff like that. And yeah. So
that makes sense.
yeah.
In that scenario, I think the micro will win over like the meso because you just simply out aim the Tracer, right?
Yeah. And I think what I found to actually try to kind of like out aim a tracer, which it sounds weird, like a Lucio out aiming a tracer,
Yeah.
but I think one thing I did was, this sounds so silly, but I remember I just sat at this one choke or this one corner. I stood still, and I
Mhm.
Meso predicted the tracer to try to walk.
Oh.
Oh, hold on. If I can show you in VODs, hold on, man. Hold on. So I remember I heard the tracer. I heard this is all mesos, I think.
Uh-huh.
I heard the tracer coming from the flank. And what I did, I crouched and I
Yep.
just sat and wait and aimed my crosshair to like head level on where I would need to hit the critical shots on the tracer head. And whenever she walked over, I hit like 2 to 3 bullets, instantly used recall, instantly won that lane, and I was able to push up.
Nice.
Back in the day though, I would be like using so much movement, so much of my brain, like typing so
Mhm.
much on my keyboard. The tracer would hear me, and then she would have to. She can easily change her adjust, like change her trajectory, or she can just try to like kind of bait me and use her mesos to try to like force me out, or to use my amp or like my
Mhm.
abilities and stuff like that. So, and to basically retract most of that, I think there's this I don't know if you heard this concept, but doing less is actually doing more.
Right, right. I agree.
So, and that's something I've been working on, and I think it is definitely true with most titles. If I'm if anybody wants to beg to differ. But yeah.
I really like that though. That's basically like the perfect example of like a meso outplay
Hmm.
of just sitting there, not moving, so they can't hear you, and you completely catch them off guard,
Yo.
and you win the lane.
And then I think a lot of people kind of need a lot of people, including me, need to realize is that I think when it comes to brain capacity and brain power, like there's only so much your brain can process unless you are
Mm.
select few. I ain't that. But um main support, we are designed to basically control damn near everything and do almost everything. So
Okay.
if we if I if I so if I forever point in the for forever reason in a game, in a match or a scrim or an official, if I ever get overwhelmed, the whole game is over. The map is
Ooh.
over. And
Right.
that's the scary part. Nobody talks about that. But as soon as you because as soon as you get I remember there was another video you was talking about. There was different, like you was talking about accuracy scores with Osu. You was talking about different
Yeah,
you
yeah.
was talking about different accuracy scores with Osu when you're chill, when you're tired, when you're angry. I
Yep.
think that also applies to Overwatch, but that also applies to the main support. And because if the main support ever gets overwhelmed, the game is over because
Right.
you lose the alt tracking, you lose the ability to think. So meso macros, whatever, out the table because you're not even thinking about that, and you're also no, actually you're actually underestimating yourself, or maybe overestimating yourself, depending
Yeah.
if you're tilted, angry, or whatever. So even that plays a big role. So when it comes to brain capacity, I think if you just, and it sounds silly, but if you just literally, it sounds so simple, but it's so difficult. If you just chill, like
Yep.
if you just like don't even press no buttons on on your keyboard. Like I'm so serious. Just look around, observe, and then do what you need to do. Because I realized the more this is like super in detail, but this is my keyboard. The
Yep.
more, you know how people kind of like spam WASD,
Yeah,
WASD,
yeah, yeah.
WASD. I realized like you spamming WASD and spamming all these unnecessary buttons on your keyboard when you're actually not doing nothing, or especially when you're trying to take a 1v1, it uses it uses a bit of your brain power to focus on spamming those buttons while trying to figure out everything else that's happening on your screen. That's too much. It's
It's
too
a
much.
good point. I like that.
It's too much because you can't even do any of the things that we're talking about if your brain is already using 55% on some random things that you or you could say 75% of things that you can't control, and the things that you're doing unnecessary, like clicking WASD, trying to look for a kill, or focusing on why your teammate is dying with primal or all this other stuff, and worrying
Mhm.
about all the other factors like people getting mad at each other, tilting and stuff like that. So that's how you easily loses games, and that's why teams get steamrolled. That's why you see teams get steamrolled, especially.
That's a really good point, and I think it goes the same way the other way around. Because I think from my experience, when I'm like too focused on aiming, I completely ignore like
Yeah.
I run into multiple enemies for no reason,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the actual brain processing of meso and macro is just completely thrown out the window when I'm like too focused on the micro.
Yep. Ton
So that
ton
actually makes
crazy.
perfect sense.
Yeah, because it's like I think you could take it a step back. You could take even further step back. If you the art of ooh, there's this coach, this coach named he says it more in depth, but this guy named Wizard Young,
Mhm.
he has a video out there called the Chill Pill, and and I think to integrate the chill pill into this conversation, you could say, if you don't know how to calm yourself down or just be chill and just like not overload your brain before the fight even starts, you're cooked. And especially whenever
Right.
things start to happen, you get lost, and that's when you get outplayed, out microed, out mesoed, everything. And then and
Yep.
then and then it can be an easy snowball effect to where it's hard to get out of, because you're getting shit on, you're trying to figure out what's going on, and it sucks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a couple points that I do want to talk
Yeah, go ahead.
about that, which is I think what we're talking about here, especially with like I think the word is pressure, right?
Yeah.
When the pressure is too high, you kind of like lose track or lose focus, and you kind of like play anxious, if that makes sense.
True. Mm-hmm.
My guess on how to relieve that is to practice in pressure so that actually performing the what is it, the competition
Competition.
is much easier.
Yeah. That's why it's there was a quote. It's like the practice is like the actual challenge, and then once you get into
Mhm.
the actual competition, it's seamlessly easy.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
it and it would make it in this, especially like because I had experience with these, like when you there's this level of pressure, there's this level of kind of aura when you're going against a good team, when you're going
Hmm.
against a really sound team that knows everything what to do. And the minute you underestimate yourself, or the minute you doubt yourself, or get nervous or anxious, which has has their own concepts to it, but as soon as you
Yep.
get that, you will easily get overwhelmed. And like I think if you can just ground yourself with your baseline, and because I think I had a problem with this when I play against good players, I actually speed myself up for no reason.
Right.
I
Right.
I, I speed I try to speed myself up for no reason, or try to match their there's this word that goes around a lot, tempo.
Uh
tempo
huh.
tempo tempo to me never really made sense, because um tempo is basically matching someone's speed, or matching their like where they're going and stuff like that, which it's good and all,
Hmm.
but the problem that I run into with different teams is whenever we get shit stomped, or whenever we get shit stomped, there's always somebody saying, "Yo, we just need to match their tempo, aka their speed," right? And
Yep.
I'm like, that's not always the case, because there's more that goes into it. But yeah, I know I divvied off the track, but I was just thinking about stuff. But hopefully that makes sense.
I kind of get what you mean.
Yeah.
I think that also kind of depends on certain factors because
Yeah.
I want to use soccer as an example. I don't know if it'll make sense, but there's basically the I guess the top league in Europe, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
like the league right below it. So I don't know the like NBA equivalent of that would be, but NBA is like the top, right?
Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah.
probably one division lower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Collegiate,
Yeah.
let's just say. The second division is super super aggressive and really fast in Europe soccer, but the top level is actually a little bit slower. They play slower and more controlled, but they speed things up when they have to. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it's like a flow. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's like the flow of the current. Like sometimes the current is calm, but then when they need to, the tides would get all shaky, storms and stuff. I see what you mean.
So like the second division, they love to play like really fast and aggressive, and they the only thing they're focusing on is just playing fast, playing aggressive. But the actual best league, the top league, realized we want to be in control. We can play aggressive when we have to, but we can also slow things down. And I think that's like the key thing that you're kind of looking at, where it's like you don't want to play at the enemy's tempo, but you want to slow things down so you're in control, but also speed things up when you have to, when you're like in the winning position.
Mm, yeah, yeah, cause I think like especially in the neutral, like I'm thinking like in the neutral when the fight starts, you initially don't need to be doing anything. Like
Mm.
like and trust me, I'm an advocate for. I remember there was a fight where we was literally just chilling and we got a kill, and I was like, oh, I'm a play up. I insta died
Oh,
in a perfect position, mind you, and everything, and it's just, and I'm just like, dang, I was like, I just need to chill. So, like, like I would realize like I'm in a good position. My team's good. We're chilling. We're slowing things down. We're just shooting them, doing their thing. And then for some odd reason, I shut out and just die. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that was me trying to speed my own self up. You feel me?
mm.
So yeah, and yeah, that's something that's I think that's something that is that I'm trying to work on so I can bridge myself into like the tier 3 system. So, but right now, because
But
yeah, go ahead.
there's one thing that I want to talk about speaking about this.
Yeah.
Since this is a lot of this has to do with pressure or like speed, like you're versing enemies that are doing things at a higher speed, higher pressure, whatever the word is, right?
Yeah.
There's also the opposite that can come as an issue. And the way I can describe it is kind of like if there is no pressure, your brain gets lazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I can't really come up with like a really good example on Overwatch.
The
So
team's trash. Team's trash. I mean, I mean,
no, like
no.
have you played like Valorant or Counter-Strike?
I played a little bit of Val.
Okay. Tell me if this makes sense, if this experience makes sense. Have
Hmm.
you ever felt like your aim got worse once your teammate died? Like you're the last one alive?
Actually, yeah, yeah. I felt that. Yeah.
That's basically like your brain becoming lazy and kind of like giving up and saying, the round is lost anyway, so might as well like get lazy with my aim. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
I'm guessing like very similar things could happen in Overwatch where even if something could be like winnable or could be like could be better, your brain gets lazy and it kind of like costs you the fight.
Oh,
Does that
I have yeah, I have an example of my own. I had a memory. I remember we were on this map, Blizzard World. It's like a payload map, so you have to get the payload to the last
Mhm.
checkpoint and win the game. And it was, I was playing with me and my friend. Actually, no, it was a scrim. It was in a scrim, and we all died, but my tracer was still like pushing cart. And
Yep.
I remember there was after like the fight ended, like two of the enemies were like low, and there was one coming. It was an extra one coming back from spawn, and I remember my chaser player was like, uh, fights like gone and stuff like that. And he was about to give up, but then I was like, no, I was like, winnable, 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 and then he was like, oh, okay, okay, and then he just he magically get 2 kills, and then ended up post bombing the third guy coming back, and he caps the points for us. 1v3, by the way.
Damn.
So yeah, that's definitely a good example there.
And the reason why I wanted to mention that specifically is you obviously want your brain to not get lazy, right?
Yeah.
That's ideal.
Hmm.
And the thing that's really, really interesting that I've found in my previous experiment is by like implementing drills called sustained attention. So in that scenario with the tracer, he probably felt like giving up in a 1v3, right?
Yeah.
A really good drill that can like kind of prevent that or challenge that is to force a tracer to 1v3 or 1v5 nonstop. Like whether that's against like actual players, I don't know if there's like deathmatch or like against bots or whatever.
Hmm.
And the more you practice doing like the uncomfortable thing that your brain wants to be lazy at and doing it more and more, the more the brain expects to fight the next enemy and then the next enemy. Because in that 1v3 scenario, the brain kind of like calculated it's probably lost anyways. I'm probably going to die.
Yeah.
But if you do these like endless fighting exercises, your brain is now like, okay, where's the next enemy? Where's the
Where's the
next
next
enemy?
enemy? Where's the next?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
And,
think, yeah. Go ahead.
and yeah, I was just going to basically say like the same thing in like Valorant and stuff, where if you do like drills of like fighting 1v infinite enemies that just nonstop like peak
Hmm.
corners, you're like training your brain of like expecting the next enemy and then the next enemy and then the
The
next
next
enemy.
enemy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And like, I think, um, I think I was thinking about a drill for me for main support. Um, I think it's just kind of weird, but if I practice doing less and
Uh-huh.
like reading and looking at the battlefield, the better like I would do. I think that's kind of like the same thing for me as well. Because
Mhm.
in most scenarios, I don't always want to be like in the middle of the fight or like trying to go for a kill and stuff like that. No, I gotta ult track. I got to because you have you ever seen Faker switch
Yeah,
be
yeah.
you ever seen Faker switch between different cams and stuff like that and like looking at
Yeah, yeah.
looking at it's kind of like the same thing. So I'm basically pressing tab into seeing like the tab, it's like you can see the enemy characters and
Yep.
numbers and stuff like that. So
Yep.
I'm always like pressing tab and seeing how much like this guy's percentage have, oh, they're gonna have ult, they're gonna have ult. And when I do that more and just chilling out and just reading that more, the better I'll be at predicting fights, predicting on what they're gonna have. I think what I remember, I think I can get accurately right. I think when Tracer has pulse bomb, it's like at what 900 to 1,000 damage.
Oh,
So,
wow.
not yeah nine. Let me think. Hold on, 900 to 1,000 damage, and then I guess with Lucio. No, actually, let me start to think. With Winston, it's probably like I think 1 300 or 1 400 depending.
Mhm.
And yeah, different different numbers I like have in my head for all those like repetition, and I can't do that efficiently if I'm always doing something.
Right.
So it's insane. It's it's actually crazy when you think about it. So that's why I've been playing Smite, because Smite is a
Mhm.
very slow game and I suck at slow paced games. And I'm like, okay, I want to play Smite and play Ares, and I just want to sit around and just stun enemies and see if I can catch somebody off guard and just figure out where people are gonna go. And it's been a pretty good experience for me. That's kind of my little experiment that I've been doing.
Mhm. I think another thing that could potentially be done is to watch like other people's VODs on
Yeah,
Overwatch or scrims. And the reason why not your own is because you probably already know what
yeah,
you did. So if you watch someone else's, you're watching something that's brand new, and then you
yeah,
could just pause the video in the middle and say, okay, what is the enemy trying to do? What is the allies trying to do?
yeah, yeah.
And trying to like mentally calculate that. It
Hmm.
could also like I guess develop the meso and the macro components.
Yeah, but yeah, that is, bro. This is a crazy talk. There's like so many ideas I want to talk to you about, but I do gotta go eat. Here, let me stop recording.